Group A is already finished today. Now we're on to Group B. This is the upper final. The winner of this will advance to the top 6 of the competition with 2 lives still intact. Rw9 versus Toxiic, who have both swept their opening match of the group against a different member of Furia. Toxiic has swept Yan, I think a surprising result for many watching. And Rw9 has swept Card, a less surprising result. But let's find out just how good is Toxiic's farm. I'm sure a lot better than that first play that we just saw. He tried to pop the ball back corner, missed it, and had to watch helplessly as Rw9 opened the scoring. Toxiic is a kickoff expert. He's got the wave dash recovery kickoff. He's got very strong standard kickoffs. He's got a lot of options he can go to, and he's going to need to dig deep into that bag of tricks today because Rw9 looks pretty impeccable, looks pretty unstoppable. Very early jump there by Toxiic, but the dodge is pretty standard. Will I be in Saudi? I certainly hope so. Don't have a flight yet, but I've agreed to work the event should all that come through in time, which I'm sure it will. Ceiling double by Rw9. Toxiic I'm going to do some goal line defense, but Rw9 is pretty out of position when it comes to stopping the counter attack, and he's not going to. Toxiic flicks from distance and then reads the downward bounce. Nice acceleration there by Toxiic. Little wave dash to get himself moving. Toxiic, one of the only players in the world who can, on occasion, match Moxie when it comes to flicks. Not as consistent as the Frenchman, but definitely one of the players who's a lot closer. Toxiic with the air double bump attempt. Rw9 with his standard saving technique there, just jumping in the way of the ball with his dodge available. Looks like he's accidentally jumped here though, and Toxiic will tie the game with a simple open net. Don't know if Rw9 was trying to dodge there or trying to land on the back wall and jump again, but whatever did happen, it wasn't what he intended. Rw9 opening up an angle to work with here, does not shoot first time. Toxiic deflects the ball into the back corner. Could not defend his boost, however. That invites Rw9 into an extended stay. He's thinking about getting the boost on spawn here. Nails it. Perfect pickup there by Rw9. Just immaculate timing. You love to see it. And now the attack continues. The bump lands. And the goal comes through, and it's all because of that boost pickup. That's what enabled Rw9 to keep control of the ball, to keep control of the play, and eventually get the goal into Toxic's net. How many of you guys, give us a 1 in chat if you feel like your own internal clock, your own timing for those boost pickups on spawn has improved from watching 1v1? Because out of all the things, you know, a lot of people sometimes ask, or it's a common question I get, is do you think I get better at Rocket League by watching as much pro play as I do? And generally the answer is no, because Rocket League is such a mechanical game that it doesn't matter how much pro play you watch, you're still going to mess up the mechanics unless you put in the practice. But that's the one aspect of the game that I think has significantly improved for me over the years without having to play. It's just the exact timing for when the boost is going to reappear. That internal 10-second clock. Because I don't think about it. I don't look at the clock when a boost gets picked up. I know some players like to look at the time, exact time in the top of the screen when a boost gets picked up, but I've never done that personally. I don't do that when I'm playing. Don't do it when I'm casting. I just rely on instincts, as I think most players do. Oh, that's an absolute banger from Rw9. I don't think Toxiic expected to be under any kind of threat in this position. He's going for a back wall demo, and then all of a sudden Rw9 has scored. That's an unbelievable aerial shot. You improved by watching Jack 1v1. Yeah, Jack's always talking about that, isn't he? It's a very important aspect of the game. because it should dictate, like when the boost is respawning, should dictate sometimes what kind of attack you're going for, what kind of placement you should go for with your shots. A lot of shots in 1v1 are not even expected to be goals. You're just forcing your opponent to make a move that favors you. You're forcing him to jump to waste boost. You're forcing him to jump to save a shot while you steal his boost away. And eventually, all these things add up to insurmountable leads. Oh, Rw9 has done him again. Another convincing mind game. Leaves Toxiic completely floored. He dove in the way of a wave dash shot and could not recover after the ball went behind him. You want to see prime TRK versus Rw9? I think right now Rw9 would probably be too good for TRK, but you know, TRK is always a bit of an anomaly. I mean, last time that he ended his 1v1 inactivity, he got swept by Naupo, but Naupo on his day can run away with games against pretty much anyone, so I don't know how much of that was TRK being out of shape and how much of it was just Naupo playing at a different level at the time. Yeah, I would love to see First Killer versus Zen. That'd be a great match. I think Zen would probably win, but First Killer is one of the best players who's not played against Zen already. Nice flick by Toxiic. Rw9 hiding behind the ball and then flipping away. Notice what he does here. He hides behind the ball and then speed flips away to respect Toxic's flick, but Toxiic did not fall for that little sneaky maneuver there, just hiding behind the ball. Because a lot of players, when they hide behind the ball like Rw9 did there, would just immediately slam reverse and go backwards into the ball, but that's not what Rw9 did. He was trying to make Toxiic think he's going to do that. First Killer would be good versus Zen. Well, stylistically, not really. Like, First Killer, so I think historically and even more recently, his best matches are against players who just rely on their kind of... look at players like Dark. Dark beat Daniel, but then First Killer beat him. The kind of players who need their mechanics to be on point to get goals. They need to be peaking, basically. But players who just, in a controlled fashion, make perfect moves over and over again are not players that First Killer does as well against. Oh, we almost had a game in our hands there, but Toxiic's missed it. So I think if you want a comparable matchup for First Killer, just a stylistic similarity would probably be someone like Yan, but at a higher level. I think Zen is just a better version of Yan. He's just Yan with maybe less of a physical game, but more of a well-rounded offensive package these days. And, in my opinion, much better defense as well. So, I think First Killer last time he played Yan, he beat him, but it looked pretty tough. It didn't look... I don't know, it doesn't look like the kind of player that First Killer likes to go against. First Killer likes to play against smart players. And I don't think Zen is a dumb player. I'm not calling him dumb. He doesn't play quote-unquote smart. He plays like a loose cannon. He plays like he's completely out of control. First Killer is more of like let's just keep this as organized as possible, as predictable as possible, and then he can eventually outsmart his opponent. But there's different ways of that coming together in 1v1. The main two are players who, you know, like classic Khaled, will just always play the high percentage play. And then you've got other players who will just play like Dark, for example. He's the complete opposite side of the spectrum. He will always go for the ball no matter what. Now, both of those things work for First Killer, because as soon as he gets a read on his opponent, they become predictable for him. But I don't think anyone would call Zen a predictable player. Like, at what point do you read Zen? The only player who's ever done it is Rw9. And I think, you know, the part of the reason that he can do that is because he is just simply one of the best 1v1 players in the world, and in everybody's minds, just the best defender in the world. And I think Zen would probably be a nasty match for First Killer stylistically. I think First Killer's got a chance, but I would definitely favor Zen when you just look at the playstyles. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to read it. I still don't know how Rw9 reads him. I don't know how anybody reads Zen. It doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I think we can all agree no one has the defensive capabilities that Rw9 has. Can we get ones in chat if that's just a true statement? Lovely little chain dash own goal here. Speaking of Rw9's defensive capabilities. Perfect timing. Scrub's defense is the same as Rw9. I would disagree. I think Scrub would probably disagree. But yeah, Scrub, you know, historically was a very good defender. Now he's more of a world-class ball chaser. He's actually still a very smart player with 1v1 IQ. Just the mechanics are at a different level now than they used to be. Does anyone have the last Appjack First Killer match results off the top of their head? What was the last result the last time Appjack played First Killer? Was it 4-3 First Killer? I think it was, right? Very close. I think those kind of matches are the ones where First Killer shines the most. I think he probably just feels in his comfort zone playing against a player like Jack. Not that, you know, Jack would be out of his comfort zone. Yeah, those are, like, long story short, those are the two types of players I think First Killer looks the best against. The players who just consistently go all in every single time, or the players who consistently make the smart play every single time. Not players who are unpredictable and volatile. He can still win. First Killer, don't get me wrong, he's good enough that he can still beat players who are a stylistic nightmare for him, but yeah, if I was to make a scoreline prediction, First Killer versus Zen, best of 5, 3-1, best of 7, I'll say 4-2 for Zen. Toxiic there, I've actually talked to him about why he half flips that way, because I know that he can half flip in both directions, and you guys will have heard me talk about this in the past. You know, why on the half flip kickoff it's important to half flip towards your goal if you want to get the best angle to save a direct shot. But First Killer, Toxiic's actually doing that on purpose. The reason he does it is because it more accurately mirrors a normal kickoff, a regular speed flip, if you flip that direction. So yeah, next time he does it, take a look at what direction his car is going in, and notice how many people fall for it or notice too late that he's actually half flipped and not speed flipped forward. If somebody can notice it, even if somebody realizes it's a tendency, so sorry Toxiic if I've just exposed you to the next opponent of yours that watches my videos. But yeah, you can actually just directly shoot into the bottom corner of Toxiic's goal there, and he would not save it because it's too long to get back if you don't half flip towards your goal. Yeah, very difficult to spot though. Very difficult to see coming. And that is a go next. 7-1, Rw9 is speedrunning Group B. It's just ridiculous. Toxiic swept Yan today. That got me thinking, okay, hold on, maybe he's got a chance to do something in the Rw9 matchup. Nah, it's just another win for Rw9. He's just quite good at Rocket League, isn't he? I mean, this is making Card's attempt at beating him look very respectable indeed, because Card took, what was it, game 1 within 4 goals, and then game 3 within 4. I love how I'm talking about 4 goal differences as if that's something to be impressed about. But Okay, let's not get into specifics. All I want to say is that Card, he did pretty well against Rw9. Given Rw9 just did the Toxiic. Now, Rw9 just won that kickoff so hard that he's almost lost it. In fact, he has lost it. Toxiic comes away with the ball. Yeah, the biggest difference, obviously, is the defense. Once again, I mean, Rw9 just looks bulletproof with his air dribble bump defense. His shadowing is working. His challenges are working. I mean, every aspect of his defensive game is working. His pre-jumps. He has not looked in trouble with boost or recoveries at all. It just looks like Toxiic has nothing except the flick. I'll say the flick was the one aspect of game 1 that gave Toxiic hope. That was the one thing that looked like it was going to consistently work against Rw9. But apart from that, Toxiic has had nothing else that's consistently worked in offense for him today. And he, at the other end, he just cannot handle Rw9's efficiency and Rw9's simple offensive strategy. Oh, well played with the angle shot. Toxiic probably thought he did enough here as the ball ended up in the back corner. Rw9 slots it. Now, Toxiic's not done if he loses here. If you're just tuning in today, this is a double elimination group format, so Toxiic has given himself 2 chances to advance out of this group, this being the first. And if he can't win this one, then he'll play against the winner of Yan Card in the elimination match of the group. That'll be last match of the day on my channel immediately after this. If you're wondering who that's going to be up against, well, right now it's 1-1, unless I'm mistaken, between Card and Yan. So Card getting his first game on the board, Yan likewise. Have we got any updates about the game 3 scoreline in chat? You know, I'm not even trolling, but it is a reasonable strategy to protect the mental for Toxiic to just forfeit here and give himself as much time to regain as possible before getting into his last match of the day. I think he wants to give it a little bit more of a go, but 5-0 in 90 seconds is not a good start. Rw9 double tap, not all in by the way, collects the boost and then scores a double tap on an open net. Just when you think you've done something good in the match, Rw9 takes your boost and goes again. Toxiic. Oh, he's not on the board! Well, I thought that surely that was going to be the one, but it's off the inside of the post. And Rw9 just effortlessly scores it again. I mean, everything's going right for him, even if he doesn't need things to go his way. This is just ridiculous. There are just levels to this game. It looks like CJ is going to be joining us for the elimination match. So that's looking like it's going to be Toxiic. And one of the, well, definitely one of the Furia players. 8-0 is a pretty one-sided scoreline. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Rw9 is kind of good at this whole 1v1 thing. I mean, Toxiic just swept Yan before this, and he is getting annihilated. Can anyone stop this man? He's speedrunning a group that many were calling a group of death. I mean, every group's been called a group of death by someone. But yeah, seeing Yan, Toxiic, and Rw9 in a group, that's already incredibly stacked when you know that only 2 of those can advance. Rw9 is going to be the first to do so. Toxiic can't stop him. There goes the 9th. I think Toxiic is just playing this one out to find out if he can score. No, he forfeits before 10. I think that's a good call. GG's, and not a second too early. 2 minutes and 21 left in the clock. Rw9 is through. That's unbelievable. That's actually ridiculous. He just smashed one of the best 1v1 players in the world. Well, I say, you know, there's no question Toxiic is a top 20 ones player in the world. Probably top 15, maybe top 10 on his day. Rw9 just completely destroyed him. What did we just witness? Yeah, honestly, Card's games against Rw9 don't look half bad anymore. I feel like Card played really well in hindsight. Honestly, he should be proud of himself. Toxiic just lost 9-0 in 3 minutes. And before that, he lost 7-1. Meanwhile, Card only lost 9-5, 11-7, and 7-3. Very respectable.